Right, my task this morning was, well, not this morning, a few days ago, was to change the wing. I've sprayed up the new ones you saw in my previous video, but it's just been really cold and wet, so I just haven't fancied, you know, sort of getting that done unless I know I can definitely finish it off. So what I decided to do is I'm going to do the bonnet next. So if we come around and have a look at the bonnet here, and it's a very dull yellow. I don't think it was ever lacquered, so it's a very dull sort of yellow. So I've given it a good wash so far, and then I'm just going to rub it down with some wet and dry, and because it's a bit breezy and cold, we'll take it outside to we'll take it inside rather, sorry, to spray it up. So if you sort of see that, hopefully the camera will pick it up, it's a sort of a very dull yellow. It should look like this here. It should sort of, you can see the transition rather. That's obviously been lacquered and that hasn't, you see. So it was an old delivery van, and that was a different colour to that. So I think it'll bring the paint up and just give it a bit of protection, and when the weather warms up and it's a bit drier, we'll get the wings done for you as well then. So that's my next task now. Right, so I've already washed this, and I'm just going to use loads of water and wet and dry, but I'm using really hot water as well. Just trying to get a bit of temperature into the metal and the paint. So, you know, every little bit will sort of help. So I've just got some very hot water at the minute, so I'm just giving that a whole lot of good soaking. I've just got my little bit of, it's a sort of like a really stiff sort of sponge, and we'll give that a rub down there, because you can feel it, it's you know, the sort of stone chips, etc. So there we go. I'm using a 600 grit wet and dry, so we'll give that a good going over with loads of water and nice long strokes as well. So you can always tell if it's paint or lacquer, because by the colour of the residue that's coming off. If it's a yellowy colour, that will be the paint. It doesn't look very yellowy, mind. I don't know if it's just faded, I suppose it might have done. And just keep using loads of water. Oh, it looks better already, I think. Just to see the yellow coming out a bit more. We'll just do the whole bonnet like that. Worried about going over the other wing at all, because obviously it's been replaced. So you can see a lot of the contaminants coming off there as well, actually, so you can see it is bringing it back out again, actually. I'm really amazed, actually. Well, I'm not super amazed, but it's amazing just how, with the wet and dry, how the colours really sort of popping back out again, if that makes sense. But we've got like what looks like the proper original colour, and you can see the difference. Hopefully the camera will pick it up between that and that sort of pasty colour. So once this is lacquered, it should look, with the new wing again, it should look back to that. Right, I'm going to just see if I can, if it'd be reasonably straightforward to get that badge off, because that would be nice if I can. I don't know. Perhaps I'll see if I can see two holes. So maybe if I whip off the bonnet catch, and maybe there's something to get to it under there then. Because rather than mask over that, I'd like to paint it up. So we'll have a quick. I tried taking the badge off, and basically, you know, just so you don't waste your time, you don't need to take the bonnet catch off like I've just done. Because those two holes don't actually do anything at all. They don't go anywhere. It's basically, there's like two long prongs, but I couldn't get it off, and what's happened is just the front outer casing of the badge has come off, which is good enough. It looks like it's just been stuck on with a bit of silicone anyway at some point. So I'll just clean up around that, and that will do us then. So, and then we can just re-stick that bit on there. So don't waste your time taking the bonnet catch off. So it's a nice thing about these videos is you can learn off other people's mistakes. So we'll do that, give it one final little clean up, and what I'll do is get it indoors because it's cold and horrible out here. And then right, firstly apologies for the pictures, but I think I'm just in really strong sunlight, and it's just sort of accentuating the shadows a bit. But the same setup I did for my when I sprayed up the wings, I'm doing exactly the same for the Ford Transit bonnet. So I've got it all hung up there. I'll give it a wipe over with some of the panel wipe, the anti-degrease and everything. We'll spray that up, so you know, we'll get it all back on today. So you know, that's a really quick job really. It's just rub down, you know, good wash, rub down, paint and back onto the van. So I'm quite keen to get it back on. I don't fancy leaving my engine exposed to everybody walking past. So, oh, just one little thing that crossed my mind. If I come completely, where is it now? Try to focus. Oh, there we go. I don't know if you can just about see it right in the middle of the picture there. There's a couple little stone chips. So I have got a bit of the other paint. Here it is, and what I'll do is I'll spray a bit of that into the cap, and I'll get like a little earbud or something, and I'll see if I can touch up some of those stone chips as well, or may as well while we've got it. There's quite a big one. Where are we now? There it is, right in the middle of the picture there. So we'll just may as well touch those up as we can. So I'll do that, and we'll give it a quick. Well, I'll do my usual thing. I'll put about, you know, 3 or 4 coats on there. I'll just use up the whole tin. I've got about a tin and a half of clear lacquer there, so I'll use all that up, and it'll be job done then. Rightio, wish me luck, and I'll show you the finished results. Well, here we go folks, here's the finished result, and I think it's turned out really nice. It's got a real nice shine on there again. So I'm really pleased with that. So in a minute now, it's been drying for about half an hour or so. I'll give it a little bit longer, and then we'll get it back on the vehicle, and we can have a bit better look at it. And those sort of stone chips and things don't look too bad that I filled in as well. So you know, just has a little bit of protection, and I'm really pleased with that. So it's a really cheap fix, just a quick rub down with some wet and dry and 1 can of clear lacquer, and it's brought it back to life again. Rightio, we'll get that back on in a minute. Right then, I've just finished getting the bonnet back on, and just a little note I thought worth mentioning. I noticed quite a bit of corrosion just underneath the hinges there, so I rubbed it right down and just greased them all up before I put it back together. So just those little things will help. So let's just check if it all closes back as it should do, because I've put the hinges exactly, because they're painted obviously, so you could tell exactly where they're supposed to go before. So let's see if I can get that done. So theoretically it should close back perfectly. There we go, and there's the finished job. You can really see the difference with, I don't know, it's going on in the evening, but you can sort of see the old faded paint there, and there's the new bonnet back on. And in a couple of weeks I'll give that a little rub down and a polish as well, just to bring it out. But you can sort of see, I'll try to go there, so the camera will focus. There it goes. You can sort of see the difference in paintwork there. But yeah, that was a really simple job, just the Ford badge to go back on, and it looks like it was just previously just stuck on with some adhesive. So yeah, we'll get all that back on, and it's a job well done. So I thought I may as well get that done before I get the other wings on, just because it was a nice simple job to do, and it wasn't too weather dependent. So that was touching, well, refurbishing a Ford Transit bonnet. Nice simple job anyone can do. Right, at last we're going to have a go at getting this wing off now. So I think I got to take this mirror off, and then there's some bolts under there, and I think there's a couple along this inside edge. There's a little screw just there, and I'm not quite sure how it's been held on down there, but we'll have a little investigate. So apologies rather that I can't sort of keep filming just because I'm on my own, so I just need to pick up the tools. I've just got a basic 10mm span and a couple of screwdrivers there, so we'll have a go at just popping off these little caps off here, these little covers, and there should be some screws and nuts under there, and then we'll take it from there. Just thought I'd quickly show you what I'm up to here. It's actually an 8mm little bolt in there, and I've just used a socket. I've just taken the socket part off and I'm just unscrewing it at the moment really carefully with that, and then there's another 2 down there, so I'll press on. Right, wing mirror off. Pretty straightforward, but I'm not looking forward to putting it back on. It's going to be quite tricky sort of locating the bolts, I think, because they're quite in deep and you've got to sort of try to hold them onto the socket and go through quite a deep part into these holes here, but we'll manage it so far. And I just had to disconnect the side indicator there. To me it actually looks like it's on its 3rd colour, this van. It was originally white, then the front end was green, and now it's yellow there, so it's a van of multicolours. But we'll press on, and I think it's just that bolt there, and I think there's one just down here somewhere, and the one's along the top edge of the wing then, so I'll press on with that, and fingers crossed it's all quite straightforward. Right, all the nuts and bolts have come off very easily, and as usual it's always the very last one which is a headache. But basically what you got to do, there's a Torx bit which was really tough to get off, which is holding their bumper in place. That's what it looks like, but that was just really well rusted in, and I had a job getting that, but luckily I got the right tools, you know, which is a godsend, to be honest. And there's also like a funny little clip like that as well, which is holding part of the wing on as well, so that's got to come off just behind there. And then now I've loosened all that, I think that's just, let me get these bits. There's just that one bolt there, and that should do the trick then. So I think it's quite obvious why this rusts out actually, because I was just looking inside, and all the moisture just gets trapped down there, so it's inevitable that's going to rust there. So a bit of a stupid design, but hopefully it's just this one last bolt to take off, and then we should be laughing. There we go, she's all off now, and pleasantly surprised to see it doesn't look too rough behind there. I didn't know what to expect, but while everything's exposed, if I can see any slight sign of anything, I'll just put some bit of protection on there or some description. And there's the old one, and this is my handiwork. I'm pretty pleased with it, to be honest, you know, considering it's just a spray can, so it'll look smarter than the rest of the van anyway. So it might look a bit odd and all nice and shiny, but we'll try to line all that up, and we'll take it from there. There we go then. I've just placed it in position yet. I haven't bolted anything on, but it looks like a good fit. Like obviously there'll be that little screw will pull that back in, and you know, for just under 30 quid off eBay, you can't go too wrong really. So I'll get all that bolted back on, and we'll have a look at it finished. Obviously the other side needs doing, so I won't bore you with the details on that. We'll have a look at it all once it's all bolted and screwed back together. All bolted on now. Just wish me luck in getting the wing mirror back on, because I'm dreading the idea I might drop the bolts down the wing there and it basically all has to come off again. But in an ideal world what I need is a magnetic socket or something like that, so that would definitely do the trick. So I'm going to just take my time, and hopefully we'll get it in there without dropping those bolts down the wing there. So here goes. And she's all on, excellent. I'm really chuffed to bits with that. And you just got to have a really steady hand when you're putting that wing mirror back on, because I was convinced I was going to drop the bolts down the wing there, but you just got to really sort of do a bit of a Mission Impossible and just really take your time and make sure you get all that back on. So everything's all back on nice and secure. And on that other video there, you can see the bonnet's looking alright and the wings there. And there'll probably be some further work on the van. So, well, you've heard of 50 Shades of Grey. This is 50 Shades of Yellow, this van. But like I say, it's a work van, and if it's reasonably solid, I'll be happy enough. So no, really pleased with that. So there's a really cheap fix anyone can do. So please look out for my other videos. I won't bother showing you doing this side here. So there's the old wing as well, so that's ready for the metal men will come and pick that up. And so I'll crack on with that, get all that done, and just you know, try to support me if you can. I'm much appreciated, you know, with the comments, likes and subscriptions, and I'm always doing stuff, so you know, if you press the notification bell as well, it'll alert you to all my other videos as well. So hope you enjoyed that, and that was a new wing on a Ford Transit van.